Hey there, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my planning process versus the outcomes that I've gotten from that planning process. How I deal with goal setting and actually following through on those goals versus what actually, I guess, comes to fruition. So that's what I'm going to be talking about for the first part of this video. And in the second part, it's just going to be kind of a general life catch-up, what's going on with me. So the first part's going to be goals and planning, and the second part's going to be what's going on with me, what's up, what's happening. So yeah, if you're interested in hearing more about that, then just keep watching, and I'm not even going to edit this. So it's been kind of crazy around here lately, which is why I'm thinking about goals and planning, especially with the new year. And that sort of start, a fresh start, turning the year over, and that feeling of beginning anew, and taking a chance, taking some time to reevaluate what's going on in life. At least that's what I think of this season as, and that's something I really enjoy doing with this sort of goals planning, goal setting time of the new year. That said, I can really relate to kind of that feeling of when things are taking longer than you would like, number one, or number two, when things that you may not have wanted to happen, or things you may not have expected end up happening, for good or for bad. For example, something that I had as a goal for the longest time was to be able to work remote, and that had been where I was training myself and my skills toward for maybe a year, I would say, like on and off, kind of unconsciously in my head, or consciously in my head I was thinking, but hadn't actually said anything out loud. And this was April of 2020. I had been thinking about that, and so I'd been thinking about it for about a year before that. And I said it out loud one week, and literally the next week, with everything that had happened due to world events, the very next week, my company announced that they were taking my office fully remote. So it was like I'd had this idea in my head for a year, and then in a week, due to nothing I did, due to no actions of my own, all of a sudden this goal that I had in my mind came to fruition. So that's an example of something great happening that I didn't necessarily have that much control over. There are other things in my life, specifically financial, that I feel like only I have control over, and either I just haven't been prioritizing, or they haven't been coming about the way that I had wanted them to. So for that, I remember two things, and that's just to remain focused on your overall goal, but to be flexible in how you get there. And something that I've also seen is having clarity about what you want, and that's something that I kind of go back and forth on. Because yes, you should absolutely be clear on what you want and your desires, but sometimes you just don't know what they're going to look like. Like, I had no idea, going back to the working remote, I had no idea that it was going to look exactly like my current situation, only remote. So, excuse me. So I didn't know, I had no clarity in that, but it came to be in a way that was better than anything I could have imagined. So when it comes to clarity, it's great to have an idea of what you want, and something that I've been learning recently is to say this or something better. So it's this thing that I have imagined in my head or something better. And that's also really important when it comes to goals and setting your goals for the year. So that's something I like to keep in mind when it comes to setting goals, to be focused and flexible, and to think this thing that I have in my head or something even better. So that's the goal and goal setting portion of this video. And here's sort of the life update, what's going on with me, what's happening. I'm on my way now to drive down to Delaware to go visit family, which I've been doing pretty recently lately. I was in Florida for the new year, and I just got back, I think just about a week ago, and so to be going back down to Delaware, it's been a lot of traveling lately, safely masked, fully back, just being safe and conscious of what's going on in the world right now, and limiting exposure when possible. So that said, that's where I'm heading right now. And I would never have envisioned this particular outcome or this particular situation for my life at present, but this is better than what I could have imagined, say, 5 years ago. It's like a million times better than anything I could have imagined this time 5 years ago, which is also an interesting experience to think about. Your life 5 years ago versus your life today. And while for me many things have stayed the same, I'm still roommates with my mom in the house that I grew up in, that she owns, that I help out with. So that stayed the same, but pretty much everything else. I have a different job than I did 5 years ago. But many other things changed. My relationships are better, deeper, stronger, and very encouraging. So that's a huge positive. And coming into this year, I feel like it's important to recognize where I am in my particular state of life, in my particular life stage, and to focus where I can and to demand things from myself. To demand more from myself than anyone else could expect. So that's a quote that Tony Robbins uses a lot. He attributes it to different people, Dr. J, basketball player, or to like Michael Jordan. But it's a good quote to say that I demand more from myself than anyone else could expect. Which is a great thing to do. I think for me, it comes down to walking the line between having high expectations and actually being able to do what I set out to do. Which sounds cryptic, but sometimes I'll have these great big plans for the day and they just kind of all go to pot. Whereas if I had started out with much more manageable expectations, I probably could have gotten more done. So it's that balance between being realistic but also being optimistic. And just to have slightly higher standards for myself, which I think is something that I've been doing incrementally over the past, say, almost 10 years, so 9 years now. And that started 9 years ago. I remember very clearly on Labor Day. I just woke up one morning. I was a messy child growing up. I was very disorganized. Up until 9 years ago as an adult, I just wasn't very naturally organized or neat or tidy. And I just woke up and said, I'm going to be a tidy person. I literally woke up and said, I'm going to be a clean person. And I pushed all of my furniture and clothes and belongings into the center of my room. I washed down the windows and I painted my whole room on that Labor Day. I woke up because it was a holiday and I was like, that's what I'm going to do on this holiday. And so from that moment forward, I said, I'm going to be this type of person. And I keep reminding myself of that every now and then because as there are many life changes going on, I start to think about what kind of a person am I going to be in the middle of this change? What am I going to maintain and what am I going to be flexible with? So keeping hold of my own identity while also being open to new opportunities that are coming. So all of that to say, during this season of goal setting, or if you're in a season of goal setting, trying to design something new or different or better for yourself, be clear, but also be open to new possibilities, what you want or something better. So yeah, that's what I've got for you today. And I hope that you are having a fabulous day. Let me know down in the comments how your year's going so far. How are things for you? I love reading your comments. I appreciate them so much. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll keep